Greetings everyone, this is Lodrik and this is now the game War in the Pacific Admirals Edition in the match against Dojo. Today we will check turn number 33, means it's a battle of 9th and 10th February 1942. So we conquer some undefended base. I think this was automatically because our units was in more or less nearby and no ally forces, so then the bases can switch the ownership. And you can see that after we clean up the mines in Bataan last time, I moved my local minesweeper now inside of Manila. There are also some mines, but compared to Bataan, far less. Oh, one of our submarines have some flotation damage. Some of the submarines, I think, near Pearl Harbor had some. They get a little damage, so I recall them and send them to Truk to repair in the floating shipyard there. This is now a light cruiser formation with some support bombardment of Menado. And nothing more, only to suppress any activity here nearby. Sometimes the allies have here some scout planes. Also to soften up every defender here and make it more easy for any attack later on. But we not hit the forces directly, we only hit more or less only the base. But we burn supplies with this. So if the units are already low on supplies, then soon they are completely out of supplies. The problem is only no units left. Every available unit is more or less in use, and it's really only you can choose where you want to go, but you can more or less not go everywhere. Or if you try to go everywhere with a little force, then you maybe will stuck in a situation looks not so nice more. So I play it more or less safe, a little slow and with more focus, and I also realized that more and more Dutch submarines are lurking here in this Makassar Strait. It's of course, it's normal. Here is deep water, and it is more or less the only way how you can ship something in or out of Bali Papan back to Japan or Taiwan, China mainland. And also if you won't go to Java, it's you often will pass this hex. You only can tell your units more or less to take this the coastline. This will then you have longer travel time, and you still must normally this hex and this hex is deep water. And I more or less use a lot of sub-hunter groups to try to intercept the submarines, but our sub-hunters are still not ready for this deep water activity. So the chance that we hit in deep water is very low. This is now other Dutch sub, one of the smaller ones I think. And here we can see this is a CH8. No, we cannot see it in the name here. But at the end, this is shallow water. And I think every port is automatically shallow water. I don't think there is a deep water port. So if you find the enemy submarines in your own port, it's much easier to sink them normally. And here we get now 10 hits. The problem is that the submarine subhunters still have this very small depth chargers, and they, even if they hit, first the chance that they hit is low, and what if they hit, they also make only a little damage. So at least you can hit here something, but you will still not make really a lot of damage. But it's maybe enough to force the submarine to turn back to Java. So re-scouting, dojo scouting, and this is always important. Stuck out, try to gather information, and then your units will try their best, most of time, to find the right answer and to react. Bad weather, okay. These are my long-range elite fighters. These are land-based elite fighters. I think now we're coming out of Singapore. And I simply use drop tanks, and this will increase maybe the fatigue of the units. But if you don't do it every turn and always keep that the fatigue is under 20, then you can do this. And this is still some preparation to soften up the enemy air defense, because sooner or later we will land with amphibious units in Java, and then I want to get rid of most of the Dutch air forces. At least the fighters we can reduce in this attempts of dogfight activity. Enemy bombers are not so easy to lure in an air battle, but if the enemy air forces have no fighter cover more, it is much easier to get rid of bombers later. And Dutch airplanes are normally always a easy target, and all of my Japanese pilots are always they welcome this kind of training battle, because every pilot can get now some kills, get experience, and this will help in the long run if we fight against American, British pilots. Still someone? One guy. At least the Dutch, they don't run away like Chinese. They at least try to fight. If this is no honor or stupidity, is up to everyone to decide. We always coming from behind have a high chance to make a hit, and in this case it always means often a kill. Good, not bad. This is, I think, now the second attempt. I think already last time I tried to create air domains or supreme to control the skies of Rangoon. But it's really a question of who can feed more inside this meat grinder. And the question is also the purpose of it. The purpose for me was, or the main goal was simply don't let the dojo create here a very big fighter unit over time, and that I can kill him at least 1-1, better than 1-1, but at least 1-1. This I can maybe accept. And also make sure that he don't run here unlimited supplies, easy going in and out. That he always are scared to lose something. So this is why I used before a lot of cruiser formation to simply show presence, and that the ally player simply don't know what he can trust. Because Rangoon themselves cannot feed all these units, so the ally player must bring with cargo ship supplies here. And this is the opportunity for the Japanese to maybe sink here cargo ships. So it is it's maybe better for the Japanese to control Burma, that's for sure, but in this position, the ally must come, and you can use Bangkok and this air base normally to control and to intercept. It's not far away from Singapore, so you can use also submarines to do here in cruiser or carrier formation. It is a risky operation for the British to maintenance this. And if the British or the ally player bring too many units here too quickly inside, this can be also critical. Maybe the Japanese player let the allies reinforce all this area, and then he closes the door, and then he lets them starve out. I mean, not starve maybe too long, but if the units are blocked here, cannot help maybe later the British somewhere in India or in Ceylon. The biggest problem is that Flying Tigers was normally not the issue. The Oscars can normally take care of the Flying Tigers because they are equal, I would say. These are P40 and the 1C, this is okay. But the Hurricane, like I said before, is simply too many guns and armor protection. And our airplanes simply have no armor, no hit points. So if we get hit and if the enemy airplane have so many machine guns, then it's the likelihood that he'd hit the Oscar is simply so high. This is a problem. And if we hit, we damage, and not so often get the kill. Yeah, again, a damage, and we get a kill. But yeah. It's okay. Sometimes you have a good day, sometimes you have a bad day, and at the end of the turn we can see what really happened. So last turn we lost more airplanes in total numbers, that's for sure. We had a lot of operational losses, so we don't lost too many pilots, but we lost a lot of airplanes. And we lost a lot of bombers, of course. I mean, they are still outdated T-21 bombers, so they are not really important. I more care the pilots than the airframe. And in the real numbers killed fighters, I think we killed 2 or 3 more of Dojos in total. So I think we lost like 11 fighters and Dojo lost something like 14 or 15 fighter pilots. But this is heavily in a defense situation, more really related to Dojo lost maybe 15 fighter pilots. But I'm for sure he don't lost 15 fighter, he lost the fighter airframes, but not all 15 fighter pilots, because if you fight on Rangoon, the chance that the pilot jump out is so high. But anyway, we dominate the skies, and officially we have now a 3-1. Wait, we'll see what returns. But here again we have the total number. So if we want, we can crash all of Dojo's cap. Dojo lack for sure the numbers. The only question is, normally this is so far meaningless if you cannot bring in your bombers. And last time I tried to bring the bombers in, and of course it was maybe unlucky because simply the bombers go first with 2 less escort and the sweep comes second. This was a failure of the commander. And only the bomber air force or bomber aircraft can normally then really make sure that the airport is damaged and useless and keep useless. And that goal to achieve simply is only possible if you first dominate the sky. So I really must get this enemy fighter numbers lower and lower and lower. And here we get now 1 kill, so maybe we are back to 3 to 3 or something like this. Here we catch 2 I-16s, one of the last Chinese Air Force maybe. Because I really don't saw any Chinese airplanes more in the war for a long time. And we get rid of 1 of them. Maybe it was the second. Maybe. Okay, maybe both. In the combat ammunition we had 2 kills, here we have only 1 kill, but at the end of the turn we will know what is true. Hopefully. Yes, nothing. Okay, and more fighters, and still allied airplanes, but only a flying tiger, so maybe we can get now the kill. The flying tiger is normally not the problem, but he evades, so the defense skill of this pilot was good enough to evade the first more or less diving attack. But our pilot still damaged an enemy airplane. Now we're diving again. Coming from behind. And damage again. And he returned to base. Okay. Okay, more bombardment, but this is this mountain area, so the efficiency is so low. But we can still see this flag. So there is still enough supplies for the units to try to use the flag guns. More bombardment. More disabled unit. This is a good attack because opened area, so I think less cover for the units and maybe also good weather. Light clouds, yeah. Nothing for the Dojos. And now the skies of Rangoon are empty. Normally that would be perfect now if I had now 100 bombers coming, but the airport is also not good. I can normally only choose. I send all my fighters, or I send all my bombers, or I make something 50-50. So I maybe wait for the next upgrade of the airport that I can bring some more engines in the skies and try with higher numbers. But it's also, I mean, it's no rush. This is nice to do this and lower, I mean, keep Dojo busy. Don't let him create something crazy strong. And I mean, if you saw my other match with THG, I took over and I make some some yeah some statements. There it looks much more tough to break this deadlock. I'm still thinking what is the best way. Here it is still early of February. In the THG game it is already mid of April, so 2 months later, and we are more or less we have the same front line, but 2 months later in the war. And with THG there are much more airplanes for the allies. Here we still try to find some Chinese pilots, but fail. Now we do what we before did of Batavia, because Batavia and Surabaya are normally the main air bases for the Dutch and Java. So I try to get rid of these Dutch fighters. I think this is the operation from Batavia, also with drop tanks, and then make sure that you have no high fatigue and skilled pilot, and then you go in and normally you can kill them all. What I can say, they are dying. Still more fighters, but nothing left more to kill. Now maybe the next day. Okay. This was the morning and now it's the afternoon. We saw that some of Dojo's scout planes tried to drop a bomb on our cargo ship, but looks like he failed. Light losses for Dojo. And some bombardment. Okay. So we had a lot of dogfights in Rangoon again, with I think very equal kill numbers. And we had a lot of dogfight activity over Java with maybe completely victory for the Japanese fighters. Okay, this is I take this base simply. This is a good spot for the allies to control this street of Malacca, and you can, if you control this, you can also make sure how is the shipping here going in and going out. So it's a good base to have some scouts here. Seaplane, float planes. You don't need super crazy stuff, but float plane. Yeah. And we make a lot of damage. They're only Dutch forces, so nothing too strong here. So okay, this is now the Battle of Buna, and I don't think that Dojo can hold this. So we kick and force the Australians to run to the jungle, and I think they will stay there for a long time. And what I can say, there was no hope for them. We lost not one guy. We can simply go in and they're running away. But this is only a very small detachment. I don't know. I mean, they have an attack value of 8 and we are from 61, so of course. These are the two forces. I think these are the two other. This is a koi, C koi, and this was maybe B koi. So these three together are one unit. And they running also away. They're running to this base. This is the second time we kick them. And I think there's not more much left. But they're still there somehow. We take now Benkalis. There's some oil. So it is for resource. For the economy, this is a good base to take. I mean, there's only this oil, nothing more. You must care too much, but better take it if it's possible. Yeah, Dojo still try to bomb us, but I think this will not really have any impact. I'm too weak to drive him out, and he's too weak to attack me, so everyone waiting for reinforcements. I don't know if there's any Dutch reinforcements are on the way, but sooner or later I will try to organize here additional forces. But this happens if you don't focus too much. Like, if I maybe bring 2 or 3 units immediately here, I can take the base more faster. Now I have to finish other stuff first, and maybe in 1 week or 2 weeks I first can bring additional forces. But it's also not a big showstopper. The show must go on. Always. So this is the end of the day. So this base just switch owner, because now the game say our present is strong enough. Still some unloading and support bombardment. And more forces are damaged or destroyed. So this is a very effective short bombardment, but it's always related to how strong is the enemy defense situation, if they have supplies, and what kind of units they are. I don't think that these Dutch forces are really military stuff. This is more, I think, only some base forces. Their job is to load and unload ships, and of course they don't are very prepared for all of this stuff. This was one of the last bases I pick up now with only a mini force. Normally there are also other small locations you can create a base, but I don't pick them up now all one by one. Maybe this I do if I have nothing else more to do, then I take them. Sometimes they switch owner. I mean, like this points. This is like a possible location, but you can see here's a green spots. There are sometimes spots still controlled by the Australians official, but they are not a base. They are only a potential base. But even in these potential bases, you can add some support ships and then use them for submarine operation or aircraft operations. Ah, bad weather. Oh! We get a kill? Oh, good. Oh, even more. I thought we killed last turn already 2 of them. There's still so many left. So, I mean, this is not 100% true what you can see here. Here is still fog of war, but it's very close to the reality. I would say this is maybe 80% true, and this is maybe only like 60% true. And okay, one flying tiger here. Chongqing, the capital of national China. So, okay. One more, okay. The problem is only I have to use drop tanks for this long range stuff, and the risky part is if our airplane gets damaged, it's often then not more possible to return. But in this case we make one clean kill. Hopefully. And now there's nothing left. But okay, I think now maybe the Chinese Air Force is so destroyed that I maybe can take out my zeros and maybe send them to Rangoon sooner or later. I will see. The zeros have simply the 20mm cannons, and they can handle more this protected armored fighter units. They are also much better normally to intercept protected bombers. This is our Bettys. Somehow, I don't know why, but I have them on naval attack, and I detected here some local minesweeper, and our naval bombers have enough skill to bring a torpedo on not only one torpedo on this mini ships. So, and there's no enemy interceptor because we make sweep before. So luckily we have sweep first cap offshore Bayard, and now our Bettys can sink I think 2 local minesweeper. 2 points. 1 ship, 1 point. Oh yeah. And now our fighters are coming, but looks like there's really nothing more left. More, but not really the numbers we damage. And the pilots are now very nearly maxed out. So maybe sooner or later I will stop the bombardment first and change the pilots. Because if they are elite pilots and if they have 70 experience, I think it's enough. Then I will maybe bring them to the pool sooner or later. And then I bring new pilots in. And these new pilots I can normally use standard training on the base first. So that they have maybe like 50 experience and skill points, and then I can maybe start bombardment again. Because up to 50 you can normally train better a pilot in school training. This saves supplies. And the real action you can start if the pilot have 50 or 60 you can start. Because after that it's very slowly to earn additional skill points with only training missions. Then better use live action missions. Yeah. Okay. China airspace is completely still in Japanese control. Okay. One American submarine again? Okay. Nothing happened. Any land attack? Only the typical bombardment here from this Dutch forces, but nothing happened. Okay, so this is the end of the turn. Moving some oil and resources. Okay. Not so much action, mostly air battles like always. And yeah, now we're at 11th February 1942. Okay. The official combat statistics tell us that we make 14 to 4 kills, no destroyed, no flak, and 1 to 6 operational losses. Okay. So from all this, what we killed is these are buffaloes, Dutch buffaloes. So 7 buffaloes killed. We lost 6 Oscars, 4 in air-to-air and 2 by ops losses. 3 Chinese I-16s lost. 2 Traps, Hurricane, 2 A's, and 2 Flying Tigers. And we lost also 1-0 by ops losses. Yeah, okay. And this is a typical Nell bomber one, can happen. This is mainly China. Not really so many, so this is a very typical. At the end we lost this 6 Oscars and 1-0. So we lost 7 first class fighters. And Dojo lost only 4 first class fighters. But 10 second class fighters. Because I-16 and the Buffaloes are something, they're only for me second class. They are the same level like a Key 27 or a Cloud fighter. So they are outdated. So in total, our fighters more or less, this time we had the numbers, but we lost more fighters. And the bomber are normally so not so important. So it's I think the opposite from last time. But it's okay. Sometimes you win the number, sometimes you win the fighters. The fighters can only kill fighters and bombers. They will never really support, they will never sink a ship, they will not hurt any airfield or they will not hurt any air unit. So the dead bomber can make the damage to all the other equipment, but the bomber cannot operate if you don't control the airspace. So I simply think, yeah, you need at least both. You need at the end both bombers and fighters, and they must help each other. Okay. List of top pilots. So we had 4 killed in action and 2 missing. So 6 airplanes have lost their airplanes. 6 airplanes lost their pilot. So we have some fighter aces, but not too many. So 6 pilot lost. Let me only check. This 4 from the Oscars. That for sure. And 2 more are killed. So we can normally check if you want here, but this 0 gets damaged at the landing. But and here's a pilot killed in landing accident. The 0 pilot. Then this is this unit. So the airplane gets damaged, not destroyed at the landing, but at the same time the pilot inside this landing accident killed himself, so I think he broke his neck. Typical, you would say. Yeah, but yeah, can happen. Good. I think there was no Navy engagement at all, so let me check. But we had this. Okay. So obviously this was our torpedo bombers. You can see torpedo attacks killed these two shitty local minesweepers. And somehow, I don't know, maybe this is a report from long time ago. This is the problem is only there's no 9th of February. Wait. Christmas Island? This is only the date the ship sunk, but I don't know at what time there was engagement, because I saw no battle with a destroyer. But maybe at the end this is a Dutch destroyer, and better to get rid of them. They are not really powerful. They are 1,500 tons, so yeah, there's a lower class of destroyers. But every killed ship is a good ship for me. So what else? I think this is enough. So not a really very busy turn. We can now see that we arrive here in this hex. So we will normally make here with this 2000 attack value, try to kick out these two units, or maybe destroy them, but at least force them to leave the field, and then these units are also broken completely. We took the space here, and we're still moving here, so this is very slow because this is small. We will soon move here. Yenan is still under blockade, so he's a staff. And here's a unit. I think I just want to send this unit here down, and then Dojo, I don't know, he escaped out of this hex, and then now he's here. But I have some tank formations nearby, and I can bring this tank formation in the same hex. They are very fast, because there's also a road. So it's for the tank formation no problem to arrive here before Dojo can attack. This is not nothing he can normally attack. These units are already in very bad shape. Even if this unit is now not in combat mission, I think they are strong enough to hold the line against something like this. So I don't fear here much. Dojo was only lucky that he intercepted me here. And here is still hunting, try to catch, but this cleanup operation needs more time. And our air forces, wait, I can do this. This is our air forces, so we have the morale is high, but still some units have most of times these scout planes always have trouble because they like to burn out easily. You can see they always I don't know if scout planes never have this high morale like normal fighter units, or because we lost normally only one airplane by flak, and this was not last time, so it must be before already. So I don't know why, but I see that recon airplanes never have so good morale fighters. The Japanese fighters, they often have very high morale, close to 100. Good. We will see if I attack again or if I maybe let rest. I see here now 7 fighters and 3 auxiliary, so I think like maybe recon, something like this. So it's not too high numbers, but I'm for sure that the Dojo will send here additional forces in sooner or later. And we can see that I sent the 25th Army already in a strategic move, and They need 1 or 2 turns for this, so they finish this, and this means now they will start to move up north and arrive in 2, or I think latest in 2 turns. We arrive here, then we must change back to move order, and then we will start to cross mountains. And maybe at the beginning of March we will arrive here. Okay, the other stuff is that we have now here our task forces. I mean, one task force is still on the way. This is our battle fleet formation. Here is a heavy cruiser formation. This is our second carrier fleet. Remember, use admirals. Here is a light cruiser support formation. And this together normally will I try to normally try to sneak here this way up. You can also go the long way around, but the critical part is really the fuel. These are not all of them have enough fuel capacity to do something like this very long range independent operations, and also don't run the fuel capacity too low. Maybe if you must run, you need still some oil. Sometimes you don't risk too much, I would say. I also will, I think I only forgot it last time, but I don't know if they're already on the way or not now. But I will prepare some tanker formations. No, they're not here. Some AOs. So I think they arrived maybe already. Ah no. And they're still here. Here's the AOs. So this turn I will send out the AOs, and I think they go to Singapore, refuel here, and then I will send them behind the task force and wait here at Source of Cylon. So that my forces can burn some oil, and then if they have 25% left or something like this, then I can refuel them. So simply to make sure that I always have enough backup fuel to be flexible in my operations. And yeah, so far you can see there's no detection. We bring here in now 260 aircraft, and like 1 battleship, 1 heavy cruiser, 1 light cruiser formation. And I think I will also create a second battle fleet formation for additional backup, because you never know what happened here. And I know that the allies have here, maybe they can have more, but at least they must have normally, I think, 2 fleet carriers and 2 or 3 battleships. So I don't want to have I won't have a clear advantage in numbers, because Dojo has for sure land base for Air Force. I don't have any land the only Air Force I have is my carriers. Okay. And so far I think nothing else. No, I think we maybe no. I still prepare my forces here. Maybe soon we can start the attack, but I think I need still more equipment. Maybe I was a little slow. I don't. You can, or maybe in Saigon I have them. Yeah, you can maybe type for speed is best. What you can really do, and maybe also must do, is very early after the first invasions finish, is you can use all your cargo ships with a speed of over 14 and then convert them. I better use one guy here, like this guy. This guy you cannot convert. Some you cannot convert, or there's loaded. But this guy, yeah, this guy is normally a fast cargo ship, really fast. So good for invasion stuff. And you have a troop capacity of 385, but he's a cargo ship, so the main purpose is cargo ships. But the Japanese can do this. I don't know if the Allies can also do this. You can convert this ship, but it's not a full conversion. It's only the purpose change. Now the purpose is cargo, and you can say no. I want this change to a temporary troop transport ship. Then you touch this. And then you can see you lose cargo, but you win a lot of troop transport capacity. And you only need 9 days to fix this normally. Okay, 9 days is the conversion or the change. You must change here something like install some shower or toilet or whatever. Then you have a little system damage, but I would say you get this ship ready in 2 weeks. So of course you can only do this after the first invasion. So first, maybe the first 3-4 days or the first week you cannot do this, but after 1 week you must bring them back to some base like Saigon, where you have your safe base, you have enough supplies, and then you can do this, and you can change this back anytime you want. So this is will not stop you to make the upgrade, the normal upgrade, because you can see this is still a normal or a military cargo ship normally, because there's not an X in the front, so it's a military cargo ship, purpose ship, buy and built by the Navy, and they have a lot of anti-aircraft, and later we get the upgrade, and then we get the 180 anti-aircraft, of course based only on this short range. So you can see very short range stuff. Good. So at this, the problem was I not did this. I think this was really it's a handicap in the long run, because the Japanese, they don't have so many purpose built or this kind of they are purpose built. They are normally passenger ships, so they really want transport only people, and they have this cargo is only secondary, and you don't have so many of these ships. And I also lost 3-4 of this really good one at the beginning. This was a little unlucky maybe. And if you have this, it's cheap, it's fast. You can also use maybe the speed of 14 cargo ships to do this. I think it's even faster to change this, and then you can run your units. And if maybe in summer or in June, July, if you don't need this more, you can change them back to normal cargo ships. And this will let you allow to move heavy units much faster from port to port. It's only my suggestion for the future. Good. Yeah, what else? So this is here. Not so much happened. This is really only a block force, nothing more. This unit is not strong enough normally to attack this, so I keep it here and block only everything. And here we only have we saw the attack value of my units and the attack value of Dojos are very similar, and this is jungle rough, so the defender get triple, so I need at least double. I need a second unit here or even more. Yeah, we take Buna, we kicked out this Lei, so Lei and Buna are the most, Lei and Buna are both okay. You can make one of them to the airbase to block this street and make sure that there's no cargo shipping more coming, but you don't need both normally. You need to control both, but you don't must use actively both. Still here's more coming, always moving stuff. I still be trying to get a port up, airfield up, and prepare here the airfield. Then I must bring bombers here, help with attack on Port Moresby. The airfield is still damaged to 70, the port is heavily damaged, so, and there's also no airplanes more left, so sooner or later we can start the invasion. The carriers are back already. I think I called them back because they was out of out of sorties, and they always get a little damage, surface damage. So I let them rest here 1 or 2 days. Nothing too special. And nothing more. Some submarines coming back from California or Pearl Harbor running out of fuel, so I will maintenance them, and then I send them normally all back here to Australia, help here in this blockade of New Zealand, and try to interdict here some stuff. We will see. So not more happened. I can only say that our forces are still not arrived in Manila. So we're still moving to Manila, so this needs also, I think, 2 more turns that we arrive in Manila, and then we must prepare, and then I will send first one army, but I think I will send both armies at the end to Java. One army with the main purpose of Surabaya, and the next one can maybe go to Batavia. And if one unit is faster than the other, then maybe they can help each other. We will see. I also have to clean up here the source coast of Borneo soon. This is really not so important for me. And I must say I get rid of this. Only to make sure that here is no scout planes more, and not that the scout plane make a lucky hit or something like this. This is all. I think this is all. So we will see. Next turn is the most critical turn, because the next turn we will be more like this, like here. And then if we get detection, then we must act. And if we don't get the detection, we will try to close the way to Bombay and then see what happened here. So next turn is still the sneaky way, and next turn we maybe see something. We see a battle of Colombo, or we see something maybe in Bombay, and and here we still have some side battle, but we bring the army up, so it's like you must wait 2 or 3 weeks more, than we see the battle of Burma starting. Good. Thank you all. It's not so much, but it's also not changing too many things here at the same time. So we have to wait, and we have to see what Dojo try to prepare for us. Take care all. See you again. Bye bye.